but it's also an opportunity for us to share some ideas, some thoughts on this, because as you can see, there's a lot of layers here, a lot of different programs can be kind of confusing. The question is, where do you start? And so I'm just going to pass this around and let folks up here from DNR itself, with Skagit Conservation District, and Kathy Smith is here with the National Resource Conservation Service. So I'll start with Hollis. I know you just went, but go ahead and just offer up your thoughts on what you think is a good starting point for folks.
So frequently my first question to folks when they contact me is, what do you want to do? And if you don't know what you want to do, that's okay too, but kind of having that idea of, okay, this is a plan, or this is objectives, or this is kind of some thoughts I had of what I'd like to accomplish, whether it is something concrete, like I want to, harvest the timber in this area, and I want to thin this, and I want to, final harvest that, or whether it's nebulous as like, well, I think my forest is not very healthy and I don't know what to do about it. And any of that is fine, but starting to think through what are your objectives, what do you want in these next steps, really helps guide and direct where you are going to look for answers and help with those questions.
Nice try.
See how, I guess when you reach out to our program, the Forest Resilience Program, we're mostly focused on non-commercial activities, right? So that'd be a good kind of dividing factor of who you're trying to contact in DNR. So our program is all focused on cutting those trees less than 8 inches in diameter to either promote the health of the forest or minimize fire risk. And management plans as well. You might reach out to both NRCS or Conservation District and DNR and just see, what fits for your personal preferences. So, yep.
So to kind of clear up a question earlier, the first presentation with Farm Service Agency applies only to working with NRCS. They're our sister agency in the U.S. Department of Agriculture. So they kind of make sure that you're eligible to receive federal funds. And then NRCS is the technical support for forestry ag type projects. I guess I'll stay with the pitfalls of working with NRCS. You have to do the farm records, the forms. There are 1 or 2 people involved today that actually have done it and survived, so it is possible. But we do require the forest management plan for our work. So I guess maybe one thing that you could think of NRCS versus DNR is if you're really interested in like all facets of your forest and kind of being more hands-on or really knowing it, then a forest management plan would be beneficial to you, and it might make more sense to deal with NRCS. If you're more kind of interested in a healthy forest, but somewhat hands-off, maybe working with the DNR could get you there, and then, you just go back to being a little more hands-off, I guess, if that makes sense.
Okay. So I think one of the first 2 decision points, at least from the conservation district standpoint, is do you have a plan or not? And if you don't, then we kind of help get those thoughts rolling. What would it take? What kind of plan do you need? Are you interested in the county current use taxation program? That is sort of written a certain way, but we also want to make sure that you're eligible for all these other programs and that you're set up. And if we see that you're ready to go and you've got everything you need, and it looks like a really good fit with DNR, then by all means, we're gonna bring it out. But we kind of just start from that. Do you have a plan or not? And is that plan comprehensive enough to meet your interest in these potential cost share programs, or and in addition to your other interests. So.
Well, I will put a plug in for the WSU Extension Coached Forest Planning course. That's become more and more popular, especially because it is getting a little harder to go through NRCS to get a written plan that this was talked about. That program isn't faring so well right now. But yes, the coach planning course can be fully online, or it rotates around the counties of Western Washington. However often, I think it's tripled in size since Kevin first started it. But a lot of landowners like that, and I think it's one night a week for 6 weeks or so, and you learn all different parts of forestry, and then end up with a forest management plan that's eligible for programs.
Yeah, the coach plan is gonna have a huge influx of, we have a new contract that we're gonna be putting on a day. 6
Oh,
to 8 sessions.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
It's great. Go ahead.
I was just gonna add just what Gene said. So the Small Forest Landowner Office has contracted with WSU Extension to add more classes and do more educational outreach. So WSU is the primary leader in this arena for public education in forestry. They have the best pamphlets, they put on the classes, all that stuff. They also do something called winter school, where once a year they will have a full day of seminars on different topics related to forestry and forest management for small forest landowners. They just had that last month down in Auburn.
Where do we go to get information on that? Because I
Yep.
never heard it.
WSU Extension Forestry.
Got a handout that's, regular page size. It's in one of those stacked bins. It covers all of their educational program. So there's some print material here that we can certainly follow up with there on.
Yeah.
I would only just add one thing. If you're not sure where to start as far as who to talk to, we all work together. So it really can't hurt to just start with any of us. And if we think you're a better fit for another agency or organization, we will refer you to them. But it really, there's no right or wrong group to start with. And we'll connect you to who we think is the best person.
So, question.
And if you're online, you can put questions in the chat and we'll answer those as well.
I was just asking if the land had to be zoned in any particular, zoning there.
Repeat the question.
Yeah,
Sorry, repeat the question.
no, you repeat the question.
No, repeat the question.
Oh,
This is where the audio is.
Yeah, yeah.
okay,
This is for everyone else.
gotcha.
Are there any specific zoning requirements for eligibility to our programs? And I think it varies. I'll let go for it.
I don't think that's the case. I don't think there are any zoning requirements for conservation districts.
The only situation that would have a requirement like that, it's not a zoning requirement, but a tax designation requirement for the riparian open habitat or open space habitat program. That is required to be designated forest land. So it's not a zoning designation, it's a tax designation. But that's the only case for DNR's programs. And nothing else to add.
No, the answer for federal programs is no, there's no requirement